Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth. My name's Anna Pirelli. The comments that you see here are my views, beliefs, opinions, and sometimes they are not even my fully formed views, beliefs, and opinions. However, they are my understandings. Please do retain an open mind and reflect on any of the content and your comfort levels. If your views differ, please feel free to leave a comment. Also remember, it is possible to disagree in respectful ways. My way is not necessarily your way and vice versa. You might also find that some of the content on this playlist in regard to spiritual or universal laws, it resonates with you, meaning it feels right to you, while other laws may not feel right or they may not feel comfortable. If this is the case, the information is either not right for you or it is not right for you right now, and it might never be right for you at any given time. It really doesn't matter. As an earthy and practical person, I can put my hand up with all honesty and say that I have at different times had the same feelings about some of the content in here. And with some of them, I still have a level of skepticism within my viewpoints, but I choose to retain an open mind about the things that I don't fully understand for a few reasons. Firstly, because I believe it would be supreme arrogance to think that we all know all of the answers while we have a body. And because what is right for one of us is not necessarily right or suitable for all of us, and I choose to respect the differences. Please do leave your opinions, beliefs. Feel free to argue the points in a respectful way with any of the content on the slides and even my interpretations. And if you feel that you can add clarity around some of the content, we would all love to see it. Thank you. For now, though, let's explore the laws.
All creation is governed by law. The principles that operate in the outer universe, discoverable by scientists, are called natural laws. But there are subtler laws that rule the hidden spiritual planes and the inner realm of consciousness. Contained within these laws, or conditions, is the true nature of matter. Knowledge of these laws has an effect upon the mental urges. Mind is the builder. Stay in full mindfulness of the application of universal law as related to self and to others, and know that in love all life is given, in love all things move. In giving one attains, in giving one acquires. In giving, love becomes the fulfillment of desire, guided and directed in the ways that bring the more perfect knowledge of self as related to the universal, all-powerful, all-guiding, all divine influence in life. Love is life. When we go back, merge with the God source, in some infinitesimal but profound way, we expand the mind of God. Our higher self always points the best and most perfect way, and it is ours to listen and choose or reject what we hear. It does not blame, but patiently tries again to show the perfect way, the loving way. All of creation pushes forth. We are ever becoming. Identity ever remains.
Universal Law number 29. The law of flexibility. This law involves a pragmatic acceptance of the present moment. We accept ourselves, others, and current circumstances rather than a rigid resistance of the moment. It requires an alert and expansive state of awareness, and embracing and making constructive use of the moment. Stumbling blocks become stepping stones and problems become opportunities. Everything serves our highest good if we make good use of it. The Serenity Prayer used by Alcoholics Anonymous and other 12-step programs reflects this law. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This prayer was drawn from Buddha's writings.
So I see the law of flexibility about being another law that's basically self-explanatory. As usual, I'll explore the definitions of the meanings first. Flexibility is defined as being capable of being bent in a way where it doesn't break. So flexibility is about being susceptible to modification or adaptation. It's adaptability. Pragma, or pragmatic means dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. So the way I interpret the law of flexibility is basically saying that we need to be sensible and practical when we're addressing our problems or approaching problems is probably best. When challenges cross our path, then we need to take a sensible approach to it. And self-acceptance is about acknowledging our strengths and vulnerabilities and knowing our limitations, knowing just how far we can stretch and accommodate before we will actually snap or break. And this is a good question to ask ourselves. This is about being aware, especially if we're feeling particularly burdened by life. I might go into a hypothetical demonstration of what this might look like based on my advocacy work in the past. So when we talk about vulnerability, we're talking, which is not discussed, but I'm going to use the word vulnerability because vulnerability within the context of my studies was defined as a person's capacity to withstand challenges and change, if you like. And the more vulnerable a person is, the less capacity they have to stand tall, so to speak. So this is where that person in the environment stuff comes in, which is, a tree, a sapling actually, along a great big solid tree that's been there for 50 years is not going to be as vulnerable as a sapling, because the sapling, if it's exposed to harsh elements, it obviously can bend and break, or it can grow out of shape bent. Okay, so during the early growth stages, we would put supports in around that sapling to make sure that it grows straight and strong. And that might mean giving it a little bit of shade from hot weather. It might mean putting a stake in to hold it up straight on a windy day, stuff like that, just basic stuff. Within the course of my advocacy work, vulnerability was considered to be stretching a person past their point of being able to withstand challenges. So if a person had a health issue, be it mental or physical health, they were considered to have heightened vulnerability to be able to withstand challenges that they might face. And the way this might manifest where people got into really big problems was they might not be aware of their limitations, and they might not be aware of where they can go to get help and support when conflict arises. Oh, I'm getting good with words this morning. So within the tenancy and advocacy scenario, it would be somebody with a health condition who has not been maintaining their tenancy obligations, and the real estate comes around and says, certainly if they're in Victoria, Australia, I mean, that blew my mind. The landlords will actually measure the lawn to make sure that it doesn't grow high, so it's not a bushfire risk. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. But let's say you've got somebody with a physical disability, let's use that scenario, and they can't actually mow their lawn, and their lawn has got to about 6 inches high, and the real estate's saying, you need to mow that lawn, otherwise you're going to get a breach, and it could be the third breach they've had. So then the person who is unwell is like, my God, I can't fix this. You know what I mean? It's outside of my capacity. First thing, that's their limitation. I cannot do this. Be aware of your limitations. It is not physically possible for me to be able to do this. Then the question becomes, what can I do? Okay? That's the flexibility there. What can I do to fix this problem, bearing in mind it's not possible for me to do it, and I'm going to end up homeless if I don't do something about it. So they approach a few people, and there can be an inflexibility or an expectation there. Quite often when people need help, they will approach a friend or family that they think is going to step up to the plate and solve their problems for them. So we'll use this one as perhaps the person phoning up their son who's away at work, and they phone up and they say, can you come by and mow the lawn, please? The landlord's going berserk. And the son will turn around and say, well, I'd like to, but actually I'm booked to go away that weekend because I've got a social gathering happening. We're going out on a yacht. I'm just making this stuff up, okay? So then there becomes that if we are inflexible with unreasonable expectations. Like you and I would think, actually, it's not unreasonable to expect your family member to step up to the plate and help you out in your hour of need. Unfortunately, life's not always like that. So the reality is that what are you going to do? Throw a big tantrum? Make yourself sick? Have a heart attack? Right? That's about not adapting to the environment. The best way to adapt is just to go, yeah, you know what? Okay, that's fine. You have a good break. Tell you what, well, not tell you what, but do you think, seeing as you're going away, can you think of a solution for me? Now that is a workable outcome where relationships are maintained as well, because actually I'm drawing on my own experience here. I had a bit of a challenge earlier this year. I was actually interstate. But anyway, where I'm going is that quite often they can come up, especially if they're a guy, they can come up with a really good solution. And if you're non-judgmental of them and don't try and guilt them out and just say, well, can you think of a solution for me? The next thing, you might actually get a phone call from them saying, I've sourced somebody to come by and do it. I'm going to pay someone to come by and do it. But the other thing is, you wouldn't stop there because you're being flexible, you're being independent, you're empowering yourself. So you say to that person, well, I'm wondering, do you have any solutions? Let me know. And then you also go and look at other solutions yourself. So we're being flexible here. And within the context of me doing the advocacy, it might be a case of contacting the advocate and saying, I need some help. Can you get the landlord to back off until my son's back off his holiday and he has said he'll mow the whatever, something like that. But when we talk about if you're flexible and where the law kind of says, let me just check how that was worded. Right, I just want to get this correct before I spoke to it. Okay, where it says that problems and burdens can be stumbling stones to opportunities, right? So if you got that whole big no all the way through and then you end up speaking to your advocate or finding an advocate and saying this is the problem, and then they can go and they can negotiate with your real estate agent, for example. But by connecting with them, not only do you find that actually they're able to help you sustain your tenancy, another option might be that they can hook you into a facility to get a more suitable accommodation for you where you can meet your tenancy obligations, or alternatively, they might be able to link you into services where you get extra help. You know what I mean? That you didn't know even existed. So it is through being flexible and being open to solutions that we enhance the quality of our lives. I'm thinking. This is just my thoughts. As always, I'm interested to hear what you've got to say. I'm going to leave this with you now. Say thank you for being part of the journey once again. I love the fact that you're here. I know not everybody's commenting, but I am seeing that more and more people are watching, and I appreciate all the comments that come through. Take care. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye for now.